Half an hour after my girlfriend cheated, I booked a hotel room and sent the room number to her best friend. The moment the door opened, Fu Qinghuan hugged me tightly. A moment later, I closed my eyes. Since Zhang cheated, it's not too much for me to cheat back, right? But I still played it smart and chose Fu Qinghuan, someone Zhang could never afford to offend. The second time Fu Qinghuan appeared before me, if you don't mind, let's try being long-term partners. My first instinct was to refuse, but before we finished our discussion, Zhang sent a message. Not picking up the phone, huh? I'm waiting for you at the entrance of your complex. Don't come back if you dare. Otherwise, I have plenty of ways to make you regret breaking up with me. Don't think that just because you're with Fu Qinghuan, she will actually take you seriously. Miss Fu, would you like to come over to my place? As we entered my home, the woman asked, unable to hide her joy. Why did you change your mind? I couldn't exactly say it was to get rid of a nuisance, and to lean on her power. Does Miss Fu want the truth, or a lie? Fu Qinghuan didn't expect me to say that. She grabbed my collar, and pulled me closer to her. Just then, the phone on the entryway cabinet rang. Neither of us intended to touch it, but the person on the other end seemed relentless. I frowned, already knowing who it was. Ridiculous. No one would stop at a time like this. They simply wouldn't stop. Fu Qinghuan, however, reached out impatiently and pressed the answer button. So you actually know how to answer the phone. You even dared to take Fu Qinghuan up there just now. What are you doing? What do you want after staying there for so long? Let me tell you, without me, you won't get anywhere in the company. There was no need for the speakerphone. In the already quiet room, her voice was full of malice and warnings. Whether I get promoted or not depends on myself, but she did indeed have the power to make my life miserable at the company. After all, I don't have a powerful father. Fu Qinghuan pinched my cheek, looking at me with a half-smile, her red lips curling slightly. One look from her, and I realized she had seen through my little scheme. Focus, Chen. The other end of the phone exploded instantly. Hearing that cold voice, Zhang, sitting in her car, immediately hung up in shock. Hilarious. She doesn't even have the guts to confront Fu Qinghuan. If she starts it, I'll finish it. Adults pay for their own choices. There's nothing to regret. When Fu Qinghuan came out of the bathroom, her long hair was still dripping. How does it feel to use me? I didn't say a word. I'll give you a week to think about it. I hope I can get a satisfactory answer. In the time that followed, I completely forgot about Fu Qinghuan's words. It was just a performance anyway. Besides, I never intended to have anything further with her. More importantly, I had no time to worry about such things. All my time was spent contacting clients. The anniversary celebrations for several companies were scheduled to be held at the Halloween Hotel. If I could handle it well on my own, the position of administrative supervisor would definitely be mine. At this moment, I was standing in the hallway of the Imperial Club's private rooms. After taking a deep breath, I smiled and knocked on the door. Entering the room, the atmosphere inside was already very lively. The table was filled with various alcohols, with many male and female PR hosts standing around. Oh, isn't this Zhang's boyfriend? I thought he was a new male host. I should have known that President Hao, who had been avoiding me, wouldn't suddenly release information. It turns out Zhang was waiting for me here. Zhang's boyfriend. His build is actually quite good. Someone who can only get promoted by pleasing me. What kind of boyfriend is he to me? Zhang's arrogant voice rang out from the corner of the room, and I saw her sitting next to a man. This was the first time I'd seen Zhang like this. Before this, she always acted all high and mighty in front of me. As soon as Zhang spoke, the atmosphere in the room was instantly ignited. Forget it, the handsome guy just doesn't know any better. Why don't you come over and apologize to Miss Zhang? I knew tonight was a trap. But clearly, the situation was not optimistic. Zhang stood up and tapped the marble tabletop. Come here, drink all of this alcohol. I'll give you a chance to kneel and kowtow an apology. The music stopped in the once lively private room. Everyone was looking at me. I noticed bodyguards were already guarding the door. No wonder I was able to get in so easily just now. After thinking it through, I walked straight toward Zhang. Even for Zhang, she had to admit in her heart that she had invested the most effort in me. You could say I cheated on her so blatantly. If she doesn't vent this anger, how can she survive in H City? If I drink all this alcohol, will you let me go? Drink first, then we'll talk. People in the room immediately started jeering. I looked at the rows of colorful liquids in the prearranged glasses. Drinking them one by one is boring. Miss Zhang, what do you think? You think by clinging to Fu Qinghuan, she will actually come for you? Do you know who she is? I treated you so well, and you dare to cheat on me? You treated me very well indeed. As I spoke, my expression changed, and I threw the decanter straight onto the floor, because it happened so suddenly. By the time the bodyguards at the door reacted, Zhang Jiang had already been pinned down by me. You're the one cheating, yet you have the nerve to blame me? You think I'm a pushover, don't you? You've overstepped your bounds. So what if I cheated on you, without your father? What the hell are you? Zhang Jiang was completely stunned. Screams immediately erupted in the room. Just as chaos broke out, the door was kicked open. Lu Niannian was about to speak when she heard my bold declaration. Zhang Jiang, this is quite a party. Why didn't you invite us to join the fun? As she spoke, the people behind her pinned down the bodyguards. The others who wanted to help instantly fell silent. Then, someone cleared a seat in the center. Fu Qinghuan walked straight over and sat down. The next moment, she spoke gently. Come here, sit beside me. At this tone, everyone looked at each other, not knowing who she was talking to. After Zhang Jiang put on a jacket, she tightened her clothes and stared intently at me. These past few days, I wanted to grind a Chen's bones to ash. No wonder a Chen dared to come alone. It turns out that behind my back, he had called Fu Qinghuan. Almost everyone's gaze fell on me, wondering in shock. When did this man get close to Fu Qinghuan? Judging by the tone, their relationship seems unusual. I was also completely confused. I didn't expect Fu Qinghuan to come. Fu Qinghuan's eyes met mine. I felt a rare sense of embarrassment, not knowing where to look. Brother, do I really have to beg you to come over? Everyone in the room finally realized what was happening. No wonder this man had the nerve to run wild on Zhang Jiang's turf. It turns out he was relying on Fu Qinghuan. They just didn't know if it was a whim or something more. I took a deep breath and walked straight toward Fu Qinghuan. Then I sat down beside her. How the tables have turned. Just now I was being gawked at like a monkey, but now I'm sitting in the seat of honor, watching them. Some tried to get close to me, but looking at the current situation, it was hardly the time for chatting. As soon as I sat down, Fu Qinghuan's cool, crisp fragrance wafted over to me. Lu Niannian glanced at the group standing nearby and chuckled. Why are you all just standing there? Weren't you having a great time just now? Sit down. Zhang Jiang was still standing there dazed, having lost face in front of everyone. How could she possibly swallow this insult? But in the current situation, no one cared about Zhang Jiang anymore. The whole group just read Fu Qinghuan's expression, acting as if Zhang Jiang didn't exist. The music was restarted by the waiter. Those who wanted to party kept partying. They couldn't let the atmosphere go cold. Otherwise, no one would have a good night. Lu Niannian's playful gaze fell on me. I knew this man wasn't simple to actually make Miss Fu come here in person. He's quite a big shot, but why does it seem like he doesn't appreciate it? Quite bold, knowing full well it's a trap, yet he still dares to come alone. The woman's breath suddenly brushed against my ear. My whole body trembled. When did she get so close? Fu Qinghuan's act of claiming ownership was no different from announcing to the world that I now belonged to her. Zhang Jiang's eyes turned red. Sister Qinghuan, for the sake of a man, you're even throwing away your best friend? Silence fell over the private room again. It was practically a battlefield. Someone could be heard whispering, although Miss Fu usually hangs out with us. But today, besides Lu Niannian, the only ones who can call themselves her best friends are those few from the capital. Zhang Jiang must be drunk. How does she dare question Miss Fu like that? Someone gave Zhang Jiang a warning look. Zhang Jiang hesitated for a moment. At this critical moment, if I just let Chen off like this, I'll never be able to hold my head high among my friends again. No, I can't back down. Fu Qinghuan didn't even look at Zhang Jiang. Instead, Zhang Jiang's friend stood up. That's enough. Do you want to offend Fu Qinghuan? Let's go. Zhang Jiang shoved the person away and tried to pull me up. A few people already screamed. The next instant, Fu Qinghuan's well-trained bodyguard stepped forward and dragged Zhang Jiang to the side. Fu Qinghuan, Zhang Jiang roared, still trying to rush forward, but she could only struggle in place. I've helped you once again. How will you repay me? The woman's gentle voice brushed against my ear. I met her gaze, my hands clenched into fists. The implication in Fu Qinghuan's words was too strong, but I didn't understand why she was helping me like this. Lu Niannian watched coldly from the side, with no intention of intervening. Seeing that things had escalated, someone stood up and said, Miss Fu, Miss Lu, I have an urgent matter at my company. I'll be leaving first. Seeing no reaction from Fu Qinghuan, they all started getting up to leave. Fu Qinghuan shouted, where are you going? No one leaves. Everyone froze in their tracks. Fu Qinghuan swirled the red wine in her glass and said nonchalantly, we ordered so much fine wine, it would be a waste not to drink it. Don't you agree? Everyone flattered her. Don't worry, Miss Fu. We'll definitely finish it. We won't let it go to waste. And we'll cover all the expenses in the room. I had no time to care about these people, because Fu Qinghuan's fingers, with a slight chill, were lingering faintly over my body. My gaze fell on the woman's exquisite profile. I clearly caught in her eyes that hint of cunning and pride. Fu Qinghuan whispered in my ear, "Do you like it?" Boom! I felt the string in my mind. Called reason snap completely. Thank you for helping me. Then, hearing my reply, Fu Qinghuan smiled even more happily. Then she linked her arm with mine, and asked coquettishly, "Chen, did you miss me?" I remained silent. How would I have time to think about such nonsense? Seeing no reaction from me, the woman said, "I missed you a little." I was stunned to hear this. I looked at her in surprise. This woman is really something. A perfectly normal sentence, yet she managed to make it sound so ambiguous. Then I said helplessly, "President Fu, I remember the evaluation of you in the financial magazines, combined with what you just said. I feel your persona is collapsing." Fu Qinghuan gave a light laugh. "Why would I want that persona? Those reports are all made up. I even find doing interviews a waste of time. Only Nan Chen believes them. Nan Chen is just too cute." The two of them whispered, oblivious to everyone else. In Zhang Zhang's eyes, it was an affair that had long since begun. "Nan Chen, you jerk. I'll get you." Just as Zhang Zhang rushed over, Fu Qinghuan saw her movement, and gave her a cold glance. The coldness in her eyes was enough to freeze anyone. Zhang Zhang couldn't help but stop. Then, looking at Zhang Zhang, she said, "It seems you're taking advantage of my good temper, and just keep provoking me, right? Contact Zhang Bin, tell him to take his daughter back, and make sure she never appears before me again." After Fu Qinghuan finished speaking, the people beside her immediately went to handle it. Now, only the two of us remained in the private room. Then, with a slight curl of her lips, Fu Qinghuan asked, "Chen, where is your answer?" I didn't expect her to ask again. I steadied my mind and said, "President Fu, could you answer one question for me?" "Speak." The woman's gaze still lingered on my face, but I couldn't see the deeper meaning in her eyes at all. I understood very clearly that since I first met Fu Qinghuan, she hadn't shown any particular interest in me, including now. "Miss Fu, do you like me?" Fu Qinghuan let out a laugh. "You're overthinking it." My heart sank, although I had already guessed the answer. Being told so bluntly by her still left me with a sense of defeat. But it's for the best. It's better to have it clear and plain than someone like Zhang Jiang, who scams people in the name of love. By then, Fu Qinghuan had already withdrawn her hand, as if the person who said those ambiguous words wasn't her. I was only guessing. In that case, I'll have to decline President Fu's proposal. Fu Qinghuan's red lips curled slightly. Such a straightforward answer. May I ask the reason? This Fu Qinghuan is truly interesting. Sometimes I feel she's rude, but other times she's very understanding. I said to her, "As you can see, I've just experienced betrayal. In this state, I have no intention of starting a relationship." She replied leisurely, "But I'm talking about a long-term partner. We won't talk about love." I was stunned by this answer. Then, looking for a way out, I said, "If President Fu feels that being rejected is an embarrassing thing, to show my gratitude for today's help, I can treat you to a meal." "No need. Since we can't reach an agreement before I become more interested in you, our relationship can end here. You may leave." After speaking, her gaze no longer lingered on me. The bit of interest she once had for me vanished completely. I couldn't be so composed and detached, but I'm grateful she knew when to stop. Although we are indeed very compatible, being with someone like her, it would be impossible to maintain an equal relationship. If I wanted to leave in the future, I'd inevitably be labeled. I stood up. Then, "Goodbye, President Fu." Fu Qinghuan didn't respond. I turned and left. It proved that, if you don't intentionally look for someone in this vast city, the chance of meeting Fu Qinghuan is minuscule. For the next half-month, Fu Qinghuan completely vanished from my world. Meanwhile, the news of my breakup with Zhang Zhang spread quickly. Miss Zhang's once passionate pursuit of love came to an abrupt end after 3 months of dating. While I breathed a sigh of relief, I also noticed changes around me. Unfortunately, my intuition was correct. "You got such basic data wrong. How long have you been with the company? I seriously doubt your professional standards." I received the notification in the middle of the night, and the data report I rushed to finish overnight had problems again. Naturally, I couldn't avoid a harsh scolding. "I see Nan Chen has received quite a few complaints lately." Mrs. Chang, who had booked a banquet yesterday, even said there was a mistake with the dessert table. "As a colleague, I hope you don't let your personal feelings affect our entire administrative team. After all, the client's needs are what we should keep in mind." I didn't pay any attention to me yen. Instead, I took the printed report in my hand and placed it on Manager Kai's desk. I don't know why the cloud data was wrong, but just to be safe, I printed a copy. Please see if there are still any errors or omissions. Manager Kai clearly didn't expect Nan Chen to have a backup. He flipped through it pretentiously. I watched his actions and sneered. I knew the difficulties lately were simply because they heard Zhang Jiang and I broke up, intentionally making things hard for me at work. As for Mrs. Chang, I personally visited her with gifts yesterday to apologize. Mrs. Chang has expressed her understanding. Manager Kai paused for a moment and tossed the report onto the desk. Mi Yan didn't expect Nan Chen to make such a move. Leaving the office, Mi Yan followed behind, fueling the fire. What's the point of working so hard? Zhang Jiang has already put the word out. Your life is only going to get harder from here. I replied bluntly, whether I survive or not is my own capability. No need for you to worry. It's not my first day in the corporate world. I won't fall into the same trap twice. Do you really think I'm stupid? Lin Su saw me coming out. My good buddy quickly handed me a coffee. Watching Mi Yan head to the team leader's office, he rolled his eyes and said, she got in through the back door. Yet she has the nerve to tell us I rely on Zhang Jiang. I chuckled and comforted him. Forget it. Why bother arguing with her? There are plenty of people like that in the workplace. Lin Su dragged his chair over and started complaining. Why is Zhang Jiang acting like a mad dog? Breakups are perfectly normal. The planning department is acting so arrogant now, constantly looking for trouble for us, saying we aren't cooperating with their proposals. With Zhang Jiang as their backer, they're all strutting around like peacocks. I can't exactly talk about the mess between me and Zhang Jiang. Seeing him glued to his phone. What are you looking at? Today's headline. It says Fu Qinghuan might have a boyfriend, and he's a famous model. Lin Su replied casually. My hand paused. Then I put on my glasses and opened the document on my desktop to check the upcoming schedule and team meetings. Lin Su patted my shoulder. Did you meet Fu Qinghuan when you went out with Zhang Jiang before? Is she really as beautiful as she is in the photos? I was stunned for a moment. Then I said, I didn't actually notice what she looked like. Besides, Zhang Jiang was right there. How could I dare look at anyone else? Otherwise, with Zhang Zhang's spoiled personality, I wouldn't have ended up well. That's true. Oh, right. Don't forget the department gathering tomorrow night. Now that the news of your breakup with Zhang Jiang is out, Mi Yan and Manager Kai have some opinions about you. They might take the opportunity to make things difficult. Just be a bit smarter in that situation. If all else fails, just make a run for it. My head started to ache just thinking about the situation. Okay, thanks for the reminder. I'll be prepared. The department gathering was set at a newly opened club, so Lin Su kept complaining to me in the car. Why can't we just go home and rest at night, instead of spending our own money to treat the bosses? Mi Yan will definitely keep proactively offering toasts to flatter the bosses. It's honestly sickening. I parked the car, patted his shoulder, and comforted him. Come on, enough. If these words of yours were posted on the company forum, you'd be criticized by everyone for lacking team cohesion and promoting individualism. It would be a miracle if the bosses didn't target you then. How annoying. And I still have to watch them act. Lin Su got out of the car, grumbling. Then he saw Mi Yan bowing and scraping to Manager Kai. I thought to myself, although Mi Yan is extremely annoying, but if she can bow down to someone like Manager Kai, then there's nothing she won't do. I got out of the car then, sighed and said to Lin Su, let's head in quickly, otherwise, being late will affect everyone. Lin Su nodded, and quickly walked over with me. Mi Yan saw us walking over, then said, I thought you were stuck in traffic again. Since everyone's here, let's go. After saying that, she smiled sweetly at Manager Kai. That song you sang last time, you must sing it again as the finale today. I haven't had enough of it yet. That was some great flattery, which made Manager Kai very happy. Beaming with joy, he led me in through the door first. Meanwhile, on the other side, Miss Fu, Miss Lu, the waiter greeted them politely. He proactively opened the door and guided them. Who else could it be but Fu Qinghuan? I instinctively looked away. Is this still the Fu Qinghuan I knew? I still remember how close and familiar she used to be with me. It's a world apart from how distant she is now. Mr. Nan, we meet again. Lu Nianyan, standing beside her, saw me and greeted me. Hearing her speak, her friends behind her all looked my way. Then, in a teasing tone, they asked Lu Nianyan, what's this about? Keeping a secret from your girls? Such a handsome guy. Why didn't you invite him to join us? Lu Nianyan stole a glance at Fu Qinghuan. Seeing no reaction from Fu Qinghuan, she tilted her head and replied to them, don't ask me. It's not my call. As for Fu Qinghuan, hearing their conversation, she didn't stop. She went straight into the elevator. Nan Chen, come up and hang out when you're free. Lu Nianyan thought to herself. If Ah Chen wants to come up for a bit, he can just ask the waiter for the room number. Then she hummed a song and followed Fu Qinghuan. Meanwhile, seeing Lu Nianyan talking to me, my colleagues in the department were quite surprised. Then they asked curiously, Nan Chen, do you know Miss Lu? Even Manager Kai's expression changed. Had he known Nan Chen had this kind of connection, he would have gone up to hand him a business card just now. Truly, Sigh, Mi Yan's gaze flickered over me. You probably met her when you were with Miss Jiang, right? Nan Chen. You really should get out more. You're wasting your talent in our administration department. Lin Su rolled his eyes, and was about to snap back at him. I pulled him back, looking at Mi Yan with a half smile and saying, I have my boundaries. I don't cause trouble, but I'm not afraid of it either. There's no need to argue with you. Hearing this, the man's expression shifted. What do you mean, Nan Chen? Didn't you just use your looks to seduce Miss Jiang? What are you acting so arrogant for? If you're so capable, try getting with Lu Nianyan. See if Lu Nianyan even bothers with you. Seeing this scene, the colleagues quickly changed the subject. Let's go. I can't wait to hear Manager Kai sing a song. Exactly. Then they pulled Mi Yan away. Just as Fu Qinghuan sat down, she heard Song Shuyi questioning Lu Nianyan. Is that handsome guy really not your man? Get lost. If he were really mine, would I not tell you? You would have seen him in the room long ago. I'm not stupid. Bringing a handsome guy back, just to sit and chat. Do I look like a philanthropist? Thinking of this, Lu Nianyan looked at Fu Qinghuan and asked, what's the deal, really? How did it fall apart that day? I remember someone heard that Zhang specifically set up a meeting to deal with her ex. Fu Qinghuan was so anxious she even pushed back business deals, and went straight to the Imperial Hotel. But the result? How did she end up sitting there alone admiring the view? Lu Nianyan became even more curious. Then, Fu Qinghuan's cold voice rang out. Mind your own business. Don't pay too much attention to other things. Geez, a woman rejected in love is really not to be messed with. One more word and she snaps. Once Mi Yan entered the room, he acted as if he were on his home turf, scurrying everywhere. He has a decent voice, and after flattering Manager Kai for a while, the wrinkles on Manager Kai's face practically bloomed into flowers. Seeing this, Lin Su nudged me with his elbow, signaling me to be careful. Sure enough, Mi Yan approached with a drink. Nan Chen, since you could handle a troublesome client like Mrs. Chang, everyone in the admin department should toast you, right? I knew he would pull something like this. I politely declined. I have to drive later, so I'm not drinking tonight. I'll use tea instead of wine. Mi Yan raised an eyebrow and said, we're all drinking, just have a little. If you can't, I'll call a designated driver for you. I was sick of Mi Yan's tone. Just as I was about to snap back, the room door opened, and a waiter brought in wine and a fruit platter. Someone asked curiously, you got the wrong table, right? We didn't order anything. It's the right table. Then the waiter replied with a smile, these are on Miss Lu, and all the expenses for tonight will be covered by Miss Lu. Damn, these wines cost a fortune. Did Nan Chen actually get close to Miss Lu? Everyone was suddenly shocked. Then all eyes fell on me. Mi Yan could barely keep a straight face. No wonder you didn't bother to toast the leaders. So you have someone backing you up. As long as you know, even Miss Lu wouldn't force Nan Chen to drink. Lin Su finally couldn't hold back this time. Who the hell do you think you are? The waiter set things down and stepped out. But my heart sank. Why is Lu Nianyan suddenly doing this? What exactly does she mean? Logically, my personal relationship with her isn't that close. Could it be Fu Qinghuan? Seeing this scene, Mi Yan lost her composure. She snorted coldly and walked back. What if Nan Chen really hit it off with Lu Nianyan? She's someone even Zhang Jiang has to flatter. If I keep making things hard for Nan Chen, what if he comes after me later? Just as I sat back down, Lin Su asked curiously, what's the deal between you and Lu Nianyan? What's the situation? I'm not too sure, but one thing is clear. With Lu Nianyan sending wine tonight, the coming days won't be too hard. I just don't know how long it'll last. I scanned the room, and a few people lowered their heads guiltily. They were the ones who had been tripping me up lately. I was wondering whether I should thank Lu Nianyan, or if she sent these to make me come to her. Suddenly, I felt a weight beside me. It was Manager Kai sitting next to me. Nan Chen, I actually think very highly of you. Hearing this, I politely kept my distance from him. I still have many shortcomings. Thank you, Manager Kai, for always guiding us. Manager Kai looked me up and down. Oh, don't say that, don't be so formal. I just didn't expect that you'd be so close to Miss Lu. My brow twitched. I knew he didn't come with good intentions. I wanted to see what he was actually after. Manager Kai was still swirling the wine in his hand. Speaking slowly, the Lu Group just opened a new resort, and the reviews are very high. If we can push forward the cooperation with the resort, it would be very helpful for your career development. What a joke. This project, even our boss, VP Gao, might not be able to secure it. How on earth could I possibly get it? This greedy old fox has gone crazy. Then, I curled my lips slightly, and didn't say anything more. Instead, while he was painting a rosy picture for me, I slowly said, if I see Miss Lu next time, I'll try to ask her about it. But personally, I'm not that close to her. Is that so? Hearing my words, Manager Kai said with flickering eyes, actually, there's no need for a next time. Miss Lu is upstairs right now. The smile instantly vanished from my face. So Manager Kai is testing me on behalf of Zhang Jiang. I can let Lu Niannian fool these people, but I can't fool Zhang Jiang. Everyone knows Manager Kai was appointed to the admin department by Zhang Jiang's father. It's just that since the supervisor, Tang Sihan, isn't in the company, Manager Kai has started acting all high and mighty. Thinking this, I decided to just be blunt. I took the initiative to pour wine for Manager Kai. Manager Kai was overwhelmed by my gesture, and even moved a bit further away from me, as if I could actually do something to him. Then I sighed, and said to him, Manager Kai, since you value me so much, I won't hide it from you. To tell you the truth, Miss Lu and I really have no relationship. As for why she's taking such care of me, it's probably because of someone else. After hearing what I said, Manager Kai asked curiously, is that so? Then who exactly is making her take such care of you? Fu Qinghuan, of course. I stared into his eyes and said word by word, Lu Niannian is only doing this. Under Miss Fu's instructions, Manager Kai's hand shook, and half the wine splashed out of the glass. He thought to himself, I've heard Lu Niannian changes partners quickly, but I've never heard of any notable man by Fu Qinghuan's side. Does Nan Chen really have this background? He's not tricking me, is he? Manager Kai soon reacted, and asked me back, but Miss Fu didn't greet you just now. Nan Chen, do you really know Miss Fu? Don't brag too much, or it'll be hard to wrap up. I picked up my glass and took a sip, saying nonchalantly, didn't we have a little conflict a couple of days ago? She ignored me today, because she's throwing a little tantrum. She just wants me to coax her. Manager Kai, you know as well. I haven't been doing very well at the company lately, so it's normal to have some friction. Manager Kai took a sip of wine, rubbing the glass with his hand, thinking to himself, if it's true, then regarding Miss Zhang's request to fire Nan Chen, I'll have to think it over carefully. After all, Nan Chen has Miss Fu backing him now. It'll be much easier for the administration department to get things done. Manager Kai, excuse me, I'll excuse myself for a moment. Seeing he didn't keep pressuring me to drink, I used it as an excuse to go to the restroom and relax. Water from the sink flowed over my fingertips. I looked up and saw Mi Yan had followed me. I knew right away. He's been humiliated by me twice tonight. He'll definitely look for a chance to get revenge. Sure enough, speak of the devil. And then I heard Mi Yan's voice. You're quite capable. First Zhang Jiang, then Lu Niannian, bouncing between different women, while pretending to be indifferent to desire. It must be exhausting for you. I pulled a tissue, wiped the water off my hands, then looked at Mi Yan as he continued to mock me. Nan Chen, I want to see how long you can keep this act up. I sneered upon hearing this, then spoke slowly and deliberately. Mi Yan, know your place. The one who starts the trouble is the one who's rude. Hearing this, Mi Yan's face turned pale with rage. Just as he was about to argue, he heard me continue. Why do you think Manager Kai was so obedient tonight? Of course, it's because I told him that the person backing me isn't Lu Niannian, but Fu Qinghuan. Also, do you think I'm a patient person? I suggest you just mind your own business. He didn't say anything, just glared at me fiercely, then turned and left. I left the restroom then, and bumped straight into Fu Qinghuan as I walked out. Fu Qinghuan looked up and saw it was me, and gave me a playful smile. But I was thinking, I'm screwed. She couldn't have been here the whole time, could she? What if Fu Qinghuan heard what I said? What if she heard that the person backing me is Fu Qinghuan? What if she heard I said the person backing me is her? Will I even see tomorrow's sunrise? Whatever, apologizing first is the safest bet. So I took a deep breath, and said to her, Miss Fu, my words just now were a bit offensive. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Fu Qinghuan heard it but didn't speak. She just walked past me. I stood there stunned for a moment, took out my phone and found the chat with Fu Qinghuan. The last message was still the number 5306. Looking at this message, the memories of that day flooded back. I quickly shook my head and started typing. Meanwhile, Fu Qinghuan returned to the private room, where everyone was already partying hard. A newly famous male celebrity was sitting next to Lu Niannian. Miss Fu, why did it take so long to go to the restroom? Fu Qinghuan sat down, avoiding the drink the man offered her. However, her gaze did sweep across those men for a moment. Then, what surfaced in her mind was the night she spent with Nan Chen. Fu Qinghuan sat there quietly reminiscing, while Song Shuyi and the others were already hyped up. Lu Niannian suddenly hugged Fu Qinghuan. I just went to the restroom to look for you. The waiter said you went to the second floor. There's already a restroom in the private room. It was already weird for Qinghuan to be outside, and now she even went to the second floor. Who would believe it wasn't for someone on the second floor? Fu Qinghuan didn't respond, pushed Lu Niannian's hand away, and only said, I'm leaving, let's catch up another time. Lu Niannian stood up in surprise and said, Hey, Qinghuan, you're leaving already? Rare to see her once. Can't we play a bit longer? And at this moment, I was in the hallway, typing and deleting the apology. Finally, I just sent 3 words, "I'm sorry." However, Fu Qinghuan blocked me. I froze. The message wasn't sent at all. I stared at that red exclamation mark, sighed with a helpless smile. Sigh. Fu Qinghuan's thoughts, I really can't figure them out. After what just happened, the department gathering dispersed quite quickly. Colleagues left in small groups. When I noticed my phone vibrating, I frowned, worried it was a client. So I quickly answered, "Hello, may I ask who this is?" But a strange static sound came from the other end. "Nan Chen, the matters at the company. We'll settle them slowly." The voice was specially processed. Couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. So I expressionlessly hung up the phone. What kind of trouble is Zhang stirring up now? Seems like something is going to happen tonight. Need to be careful. Everyone had some drinks tonight. The group planned to take cabs back. What exactly does Zhang want to do? At this point, it's impossible for me to go back and apologize to her. Hey, isn't that Fu Qinghuan's car? The group looked toward the driveway all at once. A black sedan drove smoothly past us. Mi Yan's sneer came from behind. Manager Kai's expression wasn't any better. Lin Su heard Mi Yan's laughter, found it baffling, so he snapped back. Are you crazy, Mi Yan? What are you freaking out about now? Mi Yan had been feeling stifled all evening. Why am I laughing? I've been waiting for this chance. Of course, I'm laughing because someone's bragging so much they might trip over their tongue. Every word out of their mouth is about having a connection with Miss Fu, without even thinking. Many people want to know Fu Qinghuan. She's always been cold and distant. Do you think Miss Fu is some kind of philanthropist? That anyone can just get to know her? Just as Lin Su was about to argue back, the car following the Bentley stopped in front of them. A woman rolled down the window. It was Fu Qinghuan's assistant, Zhao Qingwei. Mi Yan was instantly speechless. Manager Kai reacted faster than her, hurriedly rushed to the front, said flatteringly, "Assistant Zhao, long time no see." Zhao Qingwei waved her hand, looked at me and said, "If Mr. Nan has any business needs, you can contact the number on this business card." I was stunned. Then I quickly reacted and asked, "Assistant Zhao, could I make an appointment to see Miss Fu? To thank her in person?" Zhao Qingwei nodded and said, "I'll ask for you, whether Miss Fu has time." Seeing she didn't refuse, I breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you for the trouble. Safe travels." Assistant Zhao watched the convoy of luxury cars leave, but colleagues fell silent instantly. Lin Su rolled his eyes, looked at the pale-faced Mi Yan and said, "Some people would be better off keeping their mouths shut. Otherwise, they won't even know who they've offended." I held the business card in my hand, thinking to myself, although this is just Zhao Qingwei's personal number, at least this is an opening given by Fu Qinghuan. This means she's willing to hear my explanation. I have to seize this opportunity. Mi Yan couldn't stand it anymore, hailed a car and left immediately. Lin Su stayed with me until everyone had left. Before getting into the taxi, he didn't forget to remind me, "You drove too. You should call a designated driver. If there's anything, we'll talk at the office tomorrow." I closed the car door for him and waved. "Forget it. Stop worrying about me. Go back and have some hangover soup. Don't worry. I'm a grown man. What could possibly happen?" After watching the taxi drive away, I stood there for a while, just as I was about to go wait in the car and call a designated driver. Someone had placed a suspicious object in the passenger seat, clearly a deliberate prank. Then the car door was slammed shut, locked the doors and planned to head straight to the police station. But halfway there, I felt someone behind me. I forced myself to stay calm, thinking to myself, could it be that Jiang sent someone to get revenge on me? No. I have to get out of here quickly. Until a pair of headlights lit up. Someone got out of the car, suddenly tapped me on the arm. I abruptly shook off her hand and demanded, "What do you want? Who sent you?" Then, I froze as I looked at her exquisite face. "Fu Qinghuan, why is she here? What happened to make you this panicked?" "There's an unknown object in my passenger seat. I suspect Jiang sent someone to mess with my car. I was just about to call the police when I realized someone was following me. So I wanted to leave this place quickly and shake them off." Ha! After listening to me, Fu Qinghuan directly ordered the bodyguards who followed, check his car, and then call the police to handle it. "Yes, ma'am." The bodyguards went to carry out the order. I stood there, still recalling the scene from a moment ago. Meanwhile, Fu Qinghuan opened the car door. "Get in. I'll take you back." I didn't move, still immersed in my own world. After a while, Fu Qinghuan didn't hear any response from me. She gave me a resentful glare. "Rejecting me again? Suit yourself. I'm leaving then." "Fine, then I'll trouble Miss Fu to give me a ride." Just as she was about to leave, she heard my voice. Fu Qinghuan chuckled and said, "Why are you being so obedient today? I thought you'd just refuse." I smiled without speaking. "Miss Fu, didn't you just leave?" After getting in the car, I asked, "You're very concerned about my whereabouts. Why? Do you like me?" Earlier at the intersection, the car people said had left, turned out to be yours. Ignoring her teasing, I said. Fu Qinghuan was speechless. She sighed softly. "I've been here the whole time. Are you sure that previous car was mine?" I nodded, pretending not to hear, and changed the subject. "Thanks for today. Luckily you were here." Fu Qinghuan suddenly lost interest in talking to me. "It's not like I stopped here specifically for you." Her tone turned cold. "No need to thank me over and over." She just felt frustrated. I was just spacing out here. She really hadn't waited for him on purpose. "I don't care at all how he's doing." Hearing Fu Qinghuan say this, I didn't know what to say. An awkward silence filled the car. The driver looked at us several times in the rearview mirror. Finally, he braced himself and asked, "President Fu, are we going home, or?" Fu Qinghuan glanced at the silent me and said, "To Zichuan Mingjun." The car was already quiet. Fu Qinghuan closed her eyes to rest, but I didn't relax. My nerves remained tense. I still couldn't figure it out. Fu Qinghuan, known for being cold and aloof, why on earth was she so attentive to someone like me, who she had only met a few times? Could it be just because she's interested? Fortunately, it wasn't far. When we arrived at the residential complex, I was about to get out, but unconsciously looked at Fu Qinghuan. Noticing my gaze, Fu Qinghuan said, "Why are you looking at me? Get out." "What? Want to spend the night in the car?" I hurried out to wait for her. Just as I was about to say goodbye to Fu Qinghuan, she had already linked her arm with mine and started walking toward the complex. I walked side by side with her. Just as I was about to say something, "You've got some nerve. Do you know who Jiang Jiang is? Haven't you looked into her before?" Fu Qinghuan's voice grew colder, even carrying a hint of resentment. Hearing this, I paused and explained, "Although I'm with her, I really didn't know much about her past. Plus, I feel that once two people are together, they should focus on the present and the future, not the past. So I didn't pay much attention to those things." Fu Qinghuan stared at me in disbelief. Finally, she simply stopped in her tracks and said to me, "Keep talking. You're making a lot of sense." For a moment, I felt like I was reporting to my boss. I observed Fu Qinghuan's expression. Seeing that she was relatively calm, I continued, "Regarding the betrayal, I admit I was overthinking things, but Jiang Jiang lied to me time and time again. I had to protect my dignity. But as for you, Miss Fu, I still want to say I'm sorry. I shouldn't have, after rejecting you, brought up our past relationship in front of colleagues, just to make myself feel better." After saying this, I instinctively looked at Fu Qinghuan. After a long silence, she gave a cold snort and slowly spoke, "Your taste in people is truly terrible." I could tell what she meant. Basically, she thinks I'm crazy, preferring to play boring love games with Jiang Jiang, rather than maintaining a relationship with her. But it's precisely because she's so unattainable that I didn't dare to offend her. The two of us walked one behind the other. When we reached the entrance of my apartment building, just as I was about to open the door, I remembered Fu Qinghuan was still there. Then I turned to invite her, trying my best not to sound too suggestive. "Miss Fu, would you like to come up for a bit?" But with a man and a woman alone at the doorstep, it wouldn't be right to just kick her out. Seeing my reaction, Fu Qinghuan chuckled softly, just as she was about to refuse. The next second, Jiang Jiang had been hiding here waiting for me. "Chen, I beg you. I'm begging you. Can we get back together? I'll treat you right from now on." I looked in surprise at the agitated woman before me. Fu Qinghuan frowned as she looked at Jiang Jiang. "Jiang Jiang, this is really going too far. If you dare to do this again, don't blame me if I actually send you where you belong." After saying that, she gave the bodyguard a look, and the bodyguard took Jiang Jiang away, leaving the two of us alone again. Then Fu Qinghuan spoke. "This time, you have to come with me. This address isn't very safe." I thought she would have me sent to a hotel, but not until we entered a high-security community did I realize she was taking me to her home. The lights in the entryway turned on, and Fu Qinghuan's domain opened up to me completely. Given Fu Qinghuan's net worth, the layout and decor were naturally simple and elegant, with attention to every detail. Just the few famous paintings hanging in the foyer hallway were very sophisticated. Fu Qinghuan walked ahead, then turned to tell me, "It's fine, no need to change your shoes." I followed behind her. The living room was huge, mostly in a modern style. I figured Fu Qinghuan rarely spent time at home, as there were no signs of anyone actually living there. Seeing her go straight to the second floor, I quickly followed. Fu Qinghuan went to a room at the end of the hallway, then turned back to look at me. "This is your room. Go freshen up. You've had a tiring day. Get some rest early." Seeing that I didn't move, Fu Qinghuan teased, "What's wrong? not satisfied with the room? Or do you want to sleep in the master bedroom? Hearing this, my ears turned red, and I hurriedly explained, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just afraid your boyfriend might mind. Hearing this, Fu Qinghuan asked in confusion, who told you I have a boyfriend? Where did you hear that? She looked at my surprised expression, and for a moment, didn't know what to say. I felt a bit awkward. Just as I wanted to end the conversation, I heard her voice again. So, what do you think of Zhang Jiang now? Do you regret being with her? I was stunned. Not researching a partner's past when choosing them, I believe that is a very foolish thing to do, so it's only reasonable to regret it afterward. After saying that, Fu Qinghuan didn't wait for my reply, and went straight into the master bedroom. I stood there stunned for a while before realizing. Was that what she meant? Fu Qinghuan was actually questioning my standards and partners. I'm actually quite annoyed. But I have no way to argue back. Sigh. I stood there thinking for a long while. Then I pushed the door open and went in, took my toiletries and headed to the bathroom. I was still thinking, how exactly should I apologize to her tomorrow? It feels so awkward. Forget it. I'll deal with tomorrow's matters tomorrow. My only task right now is to get some good rest. After all, I have to work tomorrow. Meanwhile, in the master bedroom, Fu Qinghuan put on her bathrobe, poured herself a glass of red wine. Just then, she saw an incoming call. She answered the call. Hello? Speak quickly if you have something to say. Noisy sounds came from the other end of the line. Lu Niannian asked curiously, didn't you go home? Why did you bring your Chen back with you? Fu Qinghuan stood by the window, watching the swaying shadows of the trees outside. She said indifferently, I brought him because I wanted to. Why do I need a reason? Lu Niannian was stunned by the answer. Then she teased. Qinghuan, you're really not being honest. Tell me the truth. Have you actually fallen for Nan Chen? After hearing her, Fu Qinghuan said righteously, could you just stand by and watch Nan Chen be retaliated against by Zhang Jiang? Out of humanitarian spirit, I had to lend a hand. Lu Niannian sneered and remarked, Qinghuan, stop pretending you don't understand me. You know exactly what I mean. Fu Qinghuan put down her glass. If just spending 2 or 3 days together was enough to develop feelings, then your male companions would probably line up from the Lu family gates all the way to a city. Then the call was disconnected. That shouldn't be right. Am I overthinking this? But judging by Qinghuan's behavior, she clearly values that Nan Chen. Hiss, how strange. Truly strange. Did I make a huge mistake? If I had known, I wouldn't have brought Nan Chen here. Now look what happened. Even Lu Niannian knows about it. Meanwhile, after I finished washing up, I lay in the guest room, unable to sleep. I just felt something was off. What exactly are Fu Qinghuan's intentions toward me? Did she really just bring me back out of the goodness of her heart? The more I thought about it, the more restless I became. Just as I was tossing and turning, I heard footsteps approaching the door. I bolted upright. My heart began to race. What is she doing here? It couldn't be. Nan Chen, are you asleep? I thought for a moment, then asked, Miss, is there something you need from me this late? Not really. I was just checking on you. Get some rest. After she spoke, I heard Fu Qinghuan's footsteps fading away, and just then, sleepiness washed over me. The next morning, my 7 a.m. alarm woke me up on time. I got up and washed up. Just as I stepped out the door, I heard voices coming from downstairs. It turned out Fu Qinghuan's special assistant and secretary were both there. Fu Qinghuan was sitting on the sofa, listening to their work reports. As if sensing something, she looked up in my direction. Let's leave it at that for now. Then she said to them, go handle it. Keep me updated on any developments. Yes, President Fu. They responded respectfully, and then quietly withdrew. Downstairs returned to its usual silence. Come down once you're ready. There are no outsiders downstairs anymore. I nodded upon hearing this. I went downstairs and greeted Fu Qinghuan. Morning, Miss Fu. Let's eat. Breakfast is ready. That's when I noticed. Various breakfast items were already set on the table. A mix of Chinese and Western styles. The spread was quite lavish. I remembered that I usually skip breakfast to sleep in. Today, I can finally have a proper meal. I pulled out a chair, sat down and looked at Fu Qinghuan, and asked curiously, don't you eat breakfast? Won't you really get hungry? Fu Qinghuan sat on the sofa, replying to messages. I've already eaten. Just help yourself. Also, I suggest you, if you have nothing else to do today, take some time off first, and go to the police station to settle the matter with Zhang Jiang. Of course, Assistant Zhao will be there to assist you. Hearing this, I asked tentatively, if Zhang Jiang is to be dealt with, how will she be punished? The specifics depend on how the police handle it, and how you describe the situation. After all, this could be a major or minor issue. I knew it wouldn't take long, but my concern remains, whether Zhang Jiang will become even more obsessed afterward. I sighed at the thought. Don't worry, the investigation won't yield results that quickly. At least she won't bother you for a while. Just the internal disputes in Zhang Jiang's family, and the issues involving Zhang Jiang herself, from years ago. will be more than enough to keep them in for a rough time. I know how Fu Qinghuan operates, knowing I could be at ease for now. Then she suddenly changed the subject. What do you want for lunch? I'll have the chef prepare it for you. I realized what she meant. She meant we were having lunch together. Then I thought, if I refuse, does that mean regarding Jiang Zhang's matter, Fu Qinghuan will stop intervening? After some hesitation, I finally asked, Miss Fu, may I assume that because you enjoy my company, you care about me deeply, and are helping me solve my problems? Hearing this, Fu Qinghuan replied in a detached tone, and if I do? If I recall correctly, you were the one who approached me every single time. Indeed, that is true, because we are on equal footing in this regard. It would be best if from now on, we don't interfere too much in each other's lives. Just call to arrange a time when needed, or meet at a fixed time. What do you think? Fu Qinghuan heard what I said, and was surprised by my request. Then she fell silent for a moment, and asked curiously, do you even refuse the gifts I give you? I knew she would react this way. I know that associating with Fu Qinghuan could be very helpful, and give me access to higher social circles. But I don't want to pin my entire future on someone else. Let's maintain mutual respect, and remain ordinary friends without any strings attached. Contact each other only when necessary. No need for material entanglement. It will be cleaner if we part ways in the future. Yes. Then I continued, if President Fu wishes to continue this kind of relationship, I hope we can avoid the usual gifts. It would be very troublesome to settle if we part ways later. I understand. Fu Qinghuan nodded, and replied indifferently, that's fine. It's more convenient for everyone this way. Then she stood up, ignoring my reaction. She walked straight out, and when Zhao Qingwei entered, I was just about to pack my things to follow Assistant Zhao. Seeing my actions, she reminded me in passing, Mr. Nan, your house is still under inspection. Hearing this, I put my things back down. I raised an eyebrow and asked, Assistant Zhao, is this Miss Fu's doing? Zhao Qingwei smiled without speaking, and I understood instantly. Then I put my things down and said, then let's go. The sooner it's finished, the sooner I'll have peace of mind. Since Fu Qinghuan didn't kick me out immediately, it means she has accepted my proposal. Since we've reached an agreement, there's no need to be overly polite. The car was already waiting at the door. The community scenery is better in the daylight. After I got in the car, Zhao Qingwei handed me a file. This is Miss John's statement from last night. The case is primarily about stalking and intimidation. You don't need to worry too much about the rest. We will handle everything. I looked at Jiang Zhang's statement, which claimed it was just a prank between a couple. I let out a cold laugh and said, I will not accept a private settlement. I'm sticking to my original decision. President Fu said the same, and she will help you find a lawyer to resolve this. I raised an eyebrow and thought to myself, I really do have to thank Fu Qinghuan for this. She didn't have to get involved in this at all, but she stepped in just to help me. Then I nodded. I really should thank President Fu. You've worked hard too, Assistant Zhao. Zhao Qingwei sat beside me without speaking. Only when we were near the police station did she remind me. Mr. and Mrs. Jiang came last night. They were quite emotional. I suggest you avoid direct conflict with them. Hearing this, it reminded me of the time with Jiang Jiang. When I was with her, we once ran into her parents while shopping. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I never forgot their condescending attitude. I never forgot it. I won't start any conflict, I thought to myself. But I wasn't sure about Jiang Jiang's parents. After all, raising someone like Jiang Jiang meant her parents couldn't be easy to deal with. Just as Zhao Qingwei and I entered the police station, a woman's sharp voice reached my ears. So you're the petty one who reported my daughter, right? I turned my head. Mr. and Mrs. Jiang were glaring at me unhappily. The woman even wanted to rush over and hit me. Zhao Qingwei's face turned pale. She was just about to stop her. I looked at them expressionlessly, and said mockingly, what, you want to hit me too? At least be reasonable, okay? I'm a victim too. Why can't I defend my rights? Mrs. Jiang pointed at me, and said angrily, stop putting on an act here. A grown man, yet so petty. What did my daughter ever do to you? Mrs. Jiang, instead of twisting logic here, you should think about what your daughter did. If she hadn't hurt me, I would have no reason to make things difficult for her. Mrs. Jiang was so angry she couldn't say a word. Mr. Jiang patted her back to comfort her. Then Mr. Jiang looked at me and retorted, Mr. Nan, are you really that noble? Aren't you doing this for compensation too? Isn't that why you dragged our Jiang Jiang here? Jiang Jiang is our child. She has always been obedient since childhood. If people like you hadn't led her astray, how would she have ended up like this? I was tired of this pointless conversation. I looked directly at the staff beside me and said, you heard that too. They are personally attacking me. I refuse to settle privately with the Jiang family, and I absolutely won't accept mediation. I only trust the law's judgment. Whatever the law decides, so be it. Mrs. John's expression changed. Why are you so stubborn? Anyway, let them talk if they want. It won't cost me anything, as long as things are handled properly. As for the rest, none of it mattered anymore. Meanwhile, on the other side, when Lu Niannian entered Fu Qinghuan's office, Zhao Qingwei's voice message was still playing on her phone. Fu Qinghuan heard the movement and paused the voice message. She looked up at her and asked, "Are you that free now? Why do you keep running to my place every day? What? Is your own office uncomfortable? You think I wanted to come?" Lu Niannian stared at Fu Qinghuan resentfully and said aggrievedly, "Qinghuan, you made such a big move. Many people are asking me about it. With this whole Jiangjiang mess, what if the projects we invested in before collapse? We can't just shelve them like that. So I came to ask you." Fu Qinghuan took a sip of coffee. She ignored the project issue and only said lightly, "If you do wrong, you pay the price. Does anyone really need to say that? As for the rest, we'll talk when the time comes. Why is everyone so anxious?" Lu Niannian heard this and raised her brows slightly. She sat on the sofa and replied, "Then it seems Miss Jiang won't have an easy time lately." Lu Niannian naturally wouldn't plead for Jiangjiang. She was just sighing. "Hey, Qinghuan." Then she changed the topic. "Song Shuyi is celebrating her boyfriend's birthday later. Are you going?" Fu Qinghuan estimated that I should be almost out of the police station. Then she politely refused. "I already have plans. You guys go ahead." After I finished giving my statement, Zhao Qingwei left the police station with me. She said to me, "Mr. Nan, if there's nothing else, I have to head back to the company first." Zhao Qingwei glanced at her watch, clearly in a hurry to handle some affairs. "Don't worry about me." I could tell what she was thinking. Then I said, "You should go with the driver. You're quite busy too. Don't let me delay your work." Zhao Qingwei was stunned by my answer. Then she gave a light chuckle. "Then I'll be going first. Mr. Nan, don't forget your lunch with President Fu." I actually did forget about that. I said gratefully, "Assistant Zhao, thank you. Thanks for reminding me." Now that Jiangjiang's matter has been settled, I don't need to worry about my personal safety. But just in case, Zhao Qingwei still left 2 bodyguards to protect me. I walked slowly down the road, thinking to myself, since I already took the morning off anyway, there's no rush to go to work. I don't know if he heard some news, but even Manager Kai was unusually easygoing today. He agreed to my leave immediately. He even said there was no rush, and that I could return after everything was sorted. So I should use this time to think carefully about how exactly to thank Fu Qinghuan. Meanwhile, Zhao Qingwei contacted Fu Qinghuan immediately. "President Fu, everything has been handled, and I've already booked a restaurant for lunch. You can just go there directly with Mr. Nan." There was a moment of silence on the other end. "Do you have too little work to do? You're really meddling." The corners of Zhao Qingwei's mouth curled up. She thought to herself, "It seems President Fu was very happy. I just didn't expect her to value Mr. Nan so much now. It seems I should be a bit more polite to him from now on." As for me, while I was still wondering if I should go back to the apartment first, I heard my phone ring. I saw it was my aunt calling. I wondered to myself, why is my aunt calling me? Is there something she needs me for? Then I answered. "Hello, Aunt, why are you calling me?" Hearing my voice, Chen, she spoke hesitantly, "Are you free?" "Aunt, what's wrong? Just tell me if something's happened." Then my aunt finally said, "I'm fine on my end, but it's Tianlei. He got into a fight at school. Neither he nor his father is in the city. I'm afraid I have to trouble you to go there." "I understand. Don't worry, Aunt. I'll go to the hospital in a bit." Putting down the phone, I sighed and took a taxi straight to the nearby municipal hospital. When I saw young Tianlei on a corridor bench, he looked completely disheveled. Passers-by just glanced at him. After noticing the looks from the passers-by, he silently clenched his fists. Seeing this, I quickly stopped him. "Yang Tianlei, what are you doing again? Put your fists down right now." I stepped forward quickly, looking at him with a cold face. As soon as Yang Tianlei saw me, he looked me up and down disdainfully and said, "Why is it you? I didn't call you to come here." "She's meddling again, isn't she? Does she really think she's my mother? An outsider should stay out of our family affairs." After hearing this, I scolded him with a dark expression. "Shut up. Let me tell you, Yang Tianlei, my aunt and your father fell in love of their own free will." "Watch your mouth." Yang Tianlei sneered. "Free will? That's the funniest joke I've ever heard. Do you actually believe that yourself, buddy? It's fine to comfort yourself at home, but my mother already told me. Don't think I don't know everything." I let out a cold laugh. "Is that so?" I rolled up my sleeves and said nonchalantly, "Since your mother is so capable, why didn't she come to help you solve this problem?" Yang Tianlei's expression changed instantly. He turned his head and stammered, "She's busy and can't get away." He sounded more self-righteous as he spoke. In the end, as if trying to convince himself. "Right," he shouted directly at me. "She's just busy with something. My mom would never ignore me." Don't even think about driving a wedge between us. Hearing this, I ruthlessly shattered his delusions. Busy with what? I mocked. Busy hanging out with her girlfriends. Young Tianlei, let me tell you, you'd better behave yourself. Otherwise, if we really can't reach an agreement, and things escalate, you'll be held accountable. I won't look after you. Deal with it yourself. After I finished speaking, young Tianlei's eyes flickered. He said in a low voice, "Is it really that serious? Will I really be held accountable?" I sighed and said, "I've already looked into the situation. Young Tianlei, you just walked up and pushed someone down the stairs. Do you even have a brain? If you don't want it, why not donate it to someone who needs it? If his internal organs were damaged, or if his foot injury stopped him from playing basketball, how would you compensate him? Who told him to act so pretentious usually?" Young Tianlei muttered. Who would have thought he'd actually fall? I glared at him, and said coldly, "I see you won't stop until you've hit rock bottom. You're going to apologize sincerely in a moment." Perhaps the previous scolding had frightened young Tianlei. He didn't argue anymore after that. I dragged him straight to the hospital room door and knocked. After getting permission to enter, I pushed the door open and walked in. Xia Anya. She was actually an acquaintance. Zhang Jiang had taken me to their group gatherings a few times before. Once, I saw her at Xia Anya's newly opened club. That was the first time we met. Although my nervousness eased a bit, I was still somewhat worried. This is the Xia family, after all, and this matter isn't small. Can it really be solved easily? I'm truly speechless at young Tianlei, this troublemaker. How could he provoke the person he should least provoke? Miss Xie. Then, I spoke tentatively. Xia Anya was standing by the window, hearing the sound. When she turned and saw me, she was also somewhat surprised. Nan Chen. Why is he here? What a rare guest indeed. For Qinghuan's sake, I'll ask. Seeing that Xia Anya's attitude was relatively calm, I carefully chose my words. Miss Xie, this whole thing is our fault. It's all our problem. Whatever compensation is needed, we will do our best to provide. Xia Anya chuckled and shook her head. My uncle is the only child in his family. The whole family has pampered him like a treasure since childhood. Now he even has to withdraw from the basketball game. Whether he can continue playing basketball is unclear. Under these circumstances, what can you possibly use to compensate? No matter how stupid young Tianlei is, he could tell the woman before him wasn't to be trifled with. For once, he didn't say a word. I didn't speak either at this moment. My mind was racing. Xia Anya glanced at me and young Tianlei, and asked curiously, "What is your relationship?" I was stunned. Then I reacted and replied, "He is like a younger brother to me." Is that so? But it seems this brother of yours doesn't treat you like an older brother. You leave first. I have something to ask your brother. Xia Anya said to young Tianlei in a distant tone. Young Tianlei immediately left without looking back, clearly dumping the whole mess on me. If it weren't for my aunt, an ungrateful wretch like him, I wouldn't want to deal with for a single second. He runs faster than anyone when it matters most. Now it was just Xia Anya and me. Xia Anya sat on the sofa and asked, "Zhang Zhang's matter is related to you, isn't it?" I didn't expect her to bring up Zhang Zhang first instead of holding young Tianlei accountable, but rather mention Zhang Jiang. Then I replied, "I'm somewhat involved." "What's wrong?" Hearing this, Xia Anya looked up and sized me up. But I have to say, the man before me is indeed handsome. My family doesn't need the compensation, but I can do you this favor, and not make things hard for your brother. I was overjoyed. Is what Miss Xie said true? Thank you so much. Rest assured, we will keep him in check from now on. Xia Anyo chuckled. Don't misunderstand. I'm only doing this for Qinghuan's sake. I was stunned. So it was because of Fu Qinghuan. I wondered why Xia Anyo gave in so easily. Otherwise, given the Xie family's temperament, it would be impossible for my dear brother to finish high school. He might even end up with a criminal record. I looked at Xia Anya, not knowing what to say. Don't worry, I'm not losing out here. Also, my aunt is with the attending physician right now. Take your brother and leave while you can. Otherwise, it'll be harder for me to intervene later. Miss Xie, I'll remember this favor. Xia Anya looked at me with a cryptic smile. After watching me leave, she sent a message to Fu Qinghuan. I stepped out of the ward and saw young Tianlei standing on the other side, looking down at his phone. Young Tianlei looked up and saw my displeased expression, blew a bubble with the gum in his mouth. "Well," he asked nonchalantly, "can we go now?" I stared at him and said, "I shouldn't have bothered with your mess." Having said that, I ignored him and walked away on my own. Young Tianlei was stunned for a moment, then followed me immediately. "Hey, what do you mean by that? You think I'm a nuisance? Then you could have left just now. Did I ask for your help?" I pressed the elevator button and gave him a sarcastic look from head to toe. "You're quite bold now, shouting at me like this, just because you're young and won't be held accountable. Let me tell you the truth. If my aunt hadn't called me, I wouldn't have set foot in here." Yang Tianlei knew I wouldn't indulge him. He had hated me since the first time we met. Now, hearing my words, stabbing him like knives, he felt even worse. Then he snapped back. You think you're so noble? The way that woman looked at you just now, don't think I didn't notice. Oh, what look was that? Yang Tianlei sneered. You're just like your aunt, eye-catching, and annoying. I sneered. Well, can't be helped. Who's to blame for your lack of looks? Yang Tianlei's face turned pale with rage. The elevator arrived. I looked at Yang Tianlei, who refused to enter, and said, no matter how reluctant you are, the person who stepped up for you today is someone you look down upon. After saying that, I closed the elevator door. Only then did I relax, leaning against the wall, thinking to myself, Yang Tianlei is out to get me, and my aunt is the only one caught in the middle. In this world, she is the only relative I have left. If possible, I wouldn't want to make things hard for her. With Yang Tianlei's temperament, the more I indulge him, the worse he gets. By the time I reached the hospital entrance, I noticed people coming in were closing their umbrellas. I didn't realize that a light rain had started to fall. I looked at the wet ground. I didn't expect to be this unlucky today. Just as I was worrying about how long the rain would last, my phone rang, and I heard Assistant Zhao's voice upon answering. Mr. Nan, has something delayed you? She looked back at Fu Qinghuan, who was already waiting in the dining area. What on earth is Nan Chen doing to keep President Fu waiting this long? Logically, he's not the type to be so clueless. Seeing the call, I finally remembered my lunch date with Fu Qinghuan, but I quickly regained my composure and spoke to Assistant Zhao. I want to cook a meal for the VP. I'm currently out buying ingredients. Also, I have something to attend to. I'm dealing with it right now. I'll contact the VP personally in a bit. Don't worry. Zhao Qingwei breathed a sigh of relief and replied, all right, Mr. Nan, just don't forget your date with the VP. A few minutes ago, Fu Qinghuan had already received a message from Xin Anya, but she didn't have much of a reaction. I'm sorry, something came up at noon. I have to cancel on you. Can I cook for you tonight instead? What do you like to eat? I'll make it for you. Fu Qinghuan, who was feeling somewhat irritated, suddenly felt her mood calm down after listening to this voice message. Then, she curled her red lips. That works. Anything you make is fine. I'm not a picky eater. I looked at this message and smiled to myself. I don't have many signature dishes. Luckily, Fu Qinghuan isn't picky. Otherwise, I think I'd have to seek outside help. Then I replied, I can give it a try. I'll try my best to suit your taste, so you can enjoy your dinner. After a while, she replied. This time it was also a voice message. I found a quieter place to open it. More than having dinner, I want you by my side. I was speechless for a moment. Fu Qinghuan's words really caught me off guard. Fortunately, she didn't send any more messages. Otherwise, it would have been quite awkward. Just as I breathed a sigh of relief, I saw two bodyguards in suits walking toward me from the corner. Instinctively, I wanted to turn back to the hospital to call the police. By then, the bodyguards had already stepped up to me. Mr. Nan, we are the bodyguards arranged for you by Assistant Zhao. I noticed you don't have an umbrella. Would you like us to take you to your destination? I stood there, a bit stunned. Have you been following me this whole time? The bodyguards looked clearly embarrassed. We are private security employed by the Fu Group. Unless necessary, we will not appear before you. Although I was a bit unhappy, it is indeed a special time right now. Then I replied, I want to go back to President Fu's residence. Just find a supermarket nearby and drop me off. Once in the car, I remembered to reply to my aunt. The other party is no longer pursuing it, but Yang Tianlei still needs to understand the consequences. I can't keep cleaning up his messes like this. As for the compensation and such, once you're back, Auntie, it's best to bring Yang Tianlei along to apologize and make his position clear. Just as I sent it, my aunt replied instantly. Understood. Chen, it's been a while since you've had dinner at home. Have you been taking good care of yourself lately? Seeing my aunt's caring message, I felt a bit emotional. Then I replied, everything is great with me. Don't worry, Auntie, I'll come home for dinner when I have time. Fu Qinghuan had a last-minute meeting tonight. By the time Zhao Qingwei contacted me, I was already buying groceries at the supermarket. Zhao Qingwei's call came just in time. President Fu has a sudden meeting and asked me to contact you. That's fine. I'll just wait for her. Usually, these kinds of drinking parties aren't primarily about the food. After returning home, she'll definitely feel a bit unwell, so it's perfect if I make her something. Then I asked, Assistant Zhao, what are President Fu's taste preferences? Zhao Qingwei considered it for a moment. President Fu's mother is from Haicheng. That's all I can reveal. So I bought some pork ribs and fish, and then returned to Fu Qinghuan's villa. While changing shoes at the door, I noticed an extra pair of slippers. They were the same style as Fu Qinghuan's. I was a bit surprised. I thought someone else had come home. After looking around, I found I was still alone. It's just that there was a full set of toiletries in the guest room. It felt as if I were meant to stay here long term. My phone vibrated. I picked it up and saw a message from Fu Qinghuan. If you're bored, you can go to the audiovisual room on the first basement level. I'll be back quite late tonight. No problem. I'll wait for you to come back. Then I changed into loungewear and started preparing the dishes in the kitchen. I worked quickly. In less than an hour, everything was ready. It was still early before Fu Qinghuan would return, so I started wandering around the house out of boredom. I thought there were only 2 floors. Only then did I discover the indoor elevator went down. There was a whole other space below. Unfortunately, Fu Qinghuan was rarely home. I skipped the study directly, but at the end of the corridor, I found there was a music room. I really didn't expect it. Fu Qinghuan could actually play the piano. After marveling for a moment, I went to the audiovisual room. I picked a niche movie and watched it for a while. It made me sleepy. Meanwhile, on the other side, Fu Qinghuan, who was socializing, stared at her phone. In silence, someone beside her noticed it. President Fu has been looking at her phone all night. Is there something urgent? Because Fu Qinghuan rarely had male companions around her. No one thought in that direction. Nothing urgent. I just picked up a big dog last night. I wonder if he's bored at home. Everyone present was shrewd. After exchanging glances, they didn't mention going elsewhere for round 2. When Fu Qinghuan returned home, it was already late at night. There were 4 or 5 dishes on the table. She glanced over them briefly. They unexpectedly matched her taste. I was in the audiovisual room. I sensed the orchid-like fragrance on her approaching. When I opened my eyes, Miss Fu Qinghuan was bending down to wake me. You're back. The food should be cold. It won't taste good anymore. Seeing my casual and natural attitude, Fu Qinghuan chuckled softly and said, It's fine, I'll just heat it up. I nodded. Then I said, I'll make you some hangover soup. I immediately smelled the alcohol on her. Fu Qinghuan actually hadn't drunk much today, yet she still asked in surprise, That impressive? Can you tell what wine it is by smell? I thought for a moment and replied, Aged dry red wine. Fu Qinghuan suddenly leaned closer to me, so close we were almost touching. I could only feel her warm breath and the faint fragrance of her hair. My whole body suddenly stiffened. My skin flushed red instantly. Seeing my reaction, Fu Qinghuan laughed softly. Then she whispered in my ear, Then do you know where it was produced? I didn't speak. I just changed the topic and said, Let's eat first. Miss Fu, didn't you not eat well tonight? She asked curiously. What made you cook these dishes? Miss, don't you like them? Of course I do. I like anything you cook. Back in the living room, I suggested, Take a shower and relax first. You've been working all day. Fu Qinghuan nodded. While she went upstairs, I reheated the dishes. When Fu Qinghuan came down after her shower, she found my back facing her. I was busy heating the food. Fu Qinghuan walked behind me, seeing that she made no move. What's wrong? Is something the matter? Fu Qinghuan looked up at me. Then she gently hugged me from behind. Such an intimate posture made it seem as if we had been lovers for years. Chen, what other dishes can you make? I can make a bit of everything, but I'm not skilled at any. I learned them in college, while working part-time at restaurants. Working part-time? You worked all through college? I nodded. The house back in my hometown was sold, but if I want to buy a good apartment downtown in H City, I still have to work hard. After all, renovation and everything costs money, so I worked while studying in college. I originally thought Fu Qinghuan would ask about my family situation. Luckily, she didn't. She just suddenly let go of me. I breathed a sigh of relief. Soon, Fu Qinghuan returned. She was holding a velvet gift box. I froze. Fu Qinghuan had already opened the box. Inside was a men's watch. She wanted to help me put it on, but for some reason, after trying several times, she still couldn't fasten it. I understood what she meant. Give it to me. I casually put it on. My movements were casual and natural. Fu Qinghuan seemed drawn to me. Then she seemed a little shy and lowered her head. Sometimes it really is strange. When doing things, Nan Chen never treated himself as an outsider. He was very bold, not afraid of me at all. But now, such a casual little gesture from him made me unable to even look at him. The food in the pot was giving off its aroma. I hesitated before asking, should we eat in the dining room or somewhere else? Fu Qinghuan wanted to stay in the kitchen a bit longer. Let me taste it first. I followed an online recipe. I scooped up a spoonful of soup. It may not be authentic. Miss Fu, try it. Fu Qinghuan stared at me. She reached out and held my hand holding the spoon. Then she praised, Perfect. It tastes great. This was the first time I heard her speak Haiqing dialect. Her accent was authentic, yet carried the qualities of her own voice. It felt like a feather brushing past my ear, making me shiver. Fu Qinghuan really didn't go to the dining room. She stood in the kitchen and ate most of the dishes. Clearly, she liked them very much. I felt a little smug inside. As expected of me, I'm such a little cooking genius. Then the two of us returned to the room hand in hand. Before the door fully closed, all I could see was Fu Qinghuan looking at me with an ambiguous gaze. After a long while, Fu Qinghuan leaned her head on my shoulder. Then she raised her head again. I lowered my head and looked at her. her. My hand stroked her face. She instinctively slapped my hand away, then she instantly sobered up. Chen, sorry, I didn't mean to. Actually, with our relationship, going back to our own rooms would be best. However, Fu Qinghuan didn't want to leave. I was indeed tired too, so I let her be. I said helplessly, it was my fault. Why are you apologizing to me? Deep down, I'm not someone with much sense of security either, though I seem decisive on the surface. In private, I also need someone to care for me. Although I didn't know whether Chen's words to me had ever been said to someone else, they truly moved me. Perhaps because tonight's atmosphere was too beautiful, and she was even gentler. I rarely felt like opening up. I said to her, Miss, actually, I lied to you. What do you mean? I got together with Zhang, not because she appeared before me, but because on my birthday, she was the first, and the only person, to send me birthday wishes at midnight. I actually hadn't celebrated my birthday for many years. After I finished speaking, I didn't hear her respond. I half-joked, half-teased. Wasn't that an absurd decision? I also think it was absurd. After saying that, I lowered my head. In the darkness, Fu Qinghuan's gaze toward me carried a little tenderness and pity. The next day, after washing up in the morning, Fu Qinghuan and I sat at the same table for breakfast. She had returned to her usual calm. I said in my usual tone, I need to go home today. I won't come over tonight. Fu Qinghuan glanced at me. Then when will you come back? I thought for a moment and said, this is my phone number. You can contact me anytime. If I'm not busy, I'll come over. She nodded, showing understanding. Then she motioned for me to eat the breakfast in front of me. I habitually picked up the vegetable salad. Is this all you eat for breakfast? Won't you really be hungry? Humph, Miss Fu, don't worry, I'm doing this for my health. I'm used to it. Hearing this, Fu Qinghuan nodded hesitantly. After eating, I intended to call a cab. She glanced at her watch, then she picked up the car keys and said, let's go. It's on the way. The standards of Wanqing Group's hotels mean they wouldn't be in some remote corner. They're in the same business district. It really is on the way. Qinghuan, thanks for giving me a ride. You've been a huge help. We didn't talk much after getting in the car, until we were near the hotel. Fu Qinghuan asked, have you considered changing jobs? Like coming to work at my company, for example? I nodded. Of course I have, but not so strongly that I want to switch immediately. I've worked so hard for this department head position. Based on my previous performance, I should have a chance. I don't want to give up just yet, and I'm very clear about one thing. This society is just the law of the jungle. There's competition everywhere. If I change companies over this, it won't change anything. I guess you don't want me to drop you right at the door. Can I just drop you at the intersection ahead? Okay, I'll get out here then. Stay safe on the road. It's not too far or too close. I can grab a coffee on the way. Qinghuan is so thoughtful. Early in the morning, the coffee shop was mostly full of colleagues and people from nearby companies. The group close to me Yen caught my eye and gave me an awkward smile. I found it a bit strange. Normally I don't have much to do with them. Some would even make sarcastic remarks to me. Why are they all so polite today? Until I got to my workstation, Lin Su walked up to my desk and asked curiously, why did you take leave yesterday? You didn't even reply to my messages. I was dying to tell you something. I smiled and changed the subject. Here's your iced Americano. Lin Su took it, took a sip, and raised an eyebrow. No. But where on earth did you go yesterday? Only then did I open my message list. Lin Su had sent me 30 messages, because he always forwards some boring funny public accounts, so I basically have him muted. Just as I was about to explain, Lin Su snatched my phone and put it on the desk. Stop looking. It's faster if I just tell you. You've heard about Jiang, right? It's already trending. Of course I know. It's even related to me. Then I spoke up. Just this? I heard about it at home too. Lin Su looked around. Of course there's more. Her father is in trouble too. He was called in to cooperate with the investigation, and the people promoted by her father were all called in as well. But that's not the main point. The point is, even Manager Kai and Miyan were taken away. Manager Kai has a relationship with Zhang's father. Everyone knows that. But to think Miyan was involved too. As expected, while I was away from the office, a lot has really happened. You didn't see it yesterday. When Miyan and Manager Kai were taken away, their expressions were absolutely miserable. Oh, by the way, don't even think about slipping away early tonight. We have to go celebrate. Then it finally clicked. If Miyan can't clear her name, then the position of administrative department head will almost certainly fall to me. No wonder the group close to her were so polite to me today. So that's how it is. Of course. Song Yi previously recommended a new place nearby. Let's go eat there tonight. Song Yi was my best friend since childhood. Lin Su is a comrade in arms I met after joining Wancheng. The three of us get along well, so we often get together. As the ultimate food and travel expert, Song Yi's food vlog has 1 million followers. Not only is he reliable, but the places he recommends are definitely delicious. But obviously, my after-work drinks with Lin Su were hard to arrange. The situation with Zhang Zhang's father became too chaotic. Plus, scandals about Zhang Jiang herself kept surfacing one after another. Zhang Zhang's drama spread everywhere, directly affecting the corporate image of Wancheng Group. Upper management launched an internal investigation. Naturally, they soon found out that I, who was in a public relationship with Zhang Jiang, also worked at the company and was in the administration department under manager Kai. I was called in for questioning by the higher-ups. Although I hoped for the best, I had nothing to fear. But once I was called away, I figured the talk in the office would get nasty. Sure enough, as soon as I left the office, colleagues started discussing, guess why Nan Chen didn't come to work yesterday? Maybe he's planning to run away. Miss Jiang was with him for 3 months. He probably spent a lot of money. Oof, I told you so. People like him never end up well. Lin Su has a hot temper. Hearing this, he immediately slammed the table and stood up. What are you all talking about? If you're so brave, say it to Nan Chen's face. What's the point of talking behind his back? Those who just wanted to gossip naturally wouldn't actually fight with Lin Su. Seeing this, they quickly sat back down and continued to gossip on their phones. Lin Su was furious and worried about me, so he vented his frustration on his moments. The leaders in the office didn't make things difficult on purpose. After hearing me explain everything, go back to your post, work hard, they just gave me a few simple instructions. Okay, thank you, boss. Walking out of the office, the whispering in the hallway instantly vanished. Everyone pretended to be buried in their work. The truth about Zhang Jiang and her father was confirmed. Manager Kai, Mi Yan, and others involved naturally didn't dare to target me openly anymore. Returning to my desk, Lin Su immediately leaned in. How did it go? They didn't give you a hard time, did they? I was almost bursting with frustration. Those people were saying such nasty things. It's fine, the truth will out. The leaders understand the situation now. Lin Su breathed a sigh of relief. You don't know yet, do you? Because Manager Kai was too deeply involved with the Jiang family. He's been suspended from all his duties and is undergoing an internal audit. And Mi Yan, who used to rely on Manager Kai's support, took credit for everything and suppressed her colleagues. Many people have filed complaints. Now she can hardly move a finger in the department and doesn't dare to act arrogant anymore. Taking shortcuts and playing politics in the workplace, bullying others with power, doesn't last long in the end. This is the result of their own actions. Not long after, the company officially issued an internal notice. 1. Manager Kai is demoted. Manager Kai is demoted too. Manager Kai is removed from his managerial position. 5. Mi Yan is penalized. Mi Yan's quarterly bonus is deducted. As for Zhang Jiang, her negative scandal continued to brew. Coupled with her family troubles, she no longer had the energy to come to the company and trouble me. The heavy burden on my heart was finally lifted, and I could finally devote myself fully to my work. A week later, the company officially appointed me as the head of the administration department. The moment the news was announced, sincere applause rang out in the department. Colleagues who were once cold to me now showed friendly expressions. After work, now that you've been promoted and got a raise, you'll have to treat us more often. Song Yi smiled and agreed. Looking at my two best friends, I felt a deep sense of peace. Along the way, I was lucky to have their constant companionship and support. After the dinner, I took out my phone and called Fu Qinghuan. The call was answered quickly. Finished with work? Yeah, just finished dinner with friends. I've been busy dealing with various trivial matters, and haven't had a chance to properly thank you. I really appreciate your help during this time. From the beginning at the Imperial Club, she stepped forward to help me out, to arranging a special assistant to handle the police matters, and secretly keeping an eye on the company's movements. Quietly cleared many obstacles for me. Fu Qinghuan never made a big deal of it, yet she lent a hand every time I fell into trouble. A soft laugh came from the other end of the phone. Why thank me? I never helped you for the sake of a thank you. After a brief pause, she asked softly, are you free tonight? I'm downstairs at your office. My heart stirred. I hurried downstairs. Under the streetlights, Fu Qinghuan's long hair rested casually on her shoulders. The sharp coldness of the business world had faded, replaced by a gentle and charming grace. Seeing me approach, a faint smile rippled in her eyes. Walking up to her, I stopped my pace, looking at her seriously. Actually, I fought a lot during this time. At first, I had too many concerns, feeling that our social statuses were worlds apart. I didn't dare to get close, only wanting to maintain a simple friendship. But after spending time together, I realized feelings are never about weighing pros and cons, nor are they about high or low status. Fu Qinghuan gazed at me quietly. I come from an ordinary background, struggling my way to where I am now. I've grown used to relying on myself for everything, not daring to easily depend on others. But after meeting you, my tense heart slowly began to relax. I love the way you're occasionally playful and teasing, and I love how you seem cold on the surface, but are actually soft-hearted and kind inside. I took a deep breath, gathering the courage to speak my heart. Fu Qinghuan, I don't want to be just ordinary friends with you anymore. In the days to come, I want to be by your side, facing everything together with you. Are you willing to give me this chance? The evening breeze blew gently, stirring her hair. The smile in Fu Qinghuan's eyes deepened. She took a step forward, gently taking my hand. The warmth of her palm was comforting and steady. I've waited for these words for a long time. I said before that I didn't want any material ties, fearing future complications. Now I want to change my mind, not because I covet everything you have, but because I want to be with you as equals. I will work hard, live my life earnestly, and protect you in my own way. I have never doubted you. I admire your independence, resilience, and sincerity. That's why I was willing to get closer to you step by step. There's no need to rush to catch up. We just need to walk side by side. The days that followed were simple and warm. I secured my position as the administrative manager, gaining the recognition of my leaders and colleagues. Lin Su remained my most compatible partner. In my spare time, I would cook and bring meals to Fu Qinghuan. She would introduce me into her social circle. On weekends, we would take walks together, watch movies, visit markets. No complicated social obligations of the wealthy, only the simplest happiness of ordinary people. This evening, I put my arm around her shoulder, looking at the gentle sunset on the horizon. My heart was full of certainty, cherishing the simple stability, heading towards every sunny tomorrow, with kindness in my heart, staying grounded. All the beauty arrives as promised.